Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Omar from the Bullish Bears team. It's Friday, June 9th, 8:34 p.m. in the evening, and I wanted to make a video talking about my play for today. I also want to build my watch list for Monday, so hope you all had a good trading week. For me, I'm super excited because I'm actually I actually sent my application for my Centerpoint account, and I've been talking about opening an account with Centerpoint. So for those of you who don't know who Centerpoint is, let me see if I can minimize this for a second. So here's my Dash Trader demo that came with Centerpoint. But for those of you who don't know who Centerpoint is a brokerage that you can open an account with, just like you would with, like, I currently have E-Trade and TD Ameritrade, but Centerpoint is one of the higher end brokerages. It has these, it runs off the Dash platform, which is really, really nice. You can get Dash platform with SureTrader. So I subscribe to this Dash Trader Pro platform, and I'm gonna be running off Vision, the market maker Vision, which are great because they have great hard to borrow locates for shorting, and you can hold shorts overnight. Now the problem with opening an account here, and the reason why a lot of people don't do it, is because the account minimum is 50 grand. But if you go through like Mad Ass Trader, shout out to him on Twitter, or actually even Tim Sykes, they'll give you a $30,000 account. I think you probably do either without them and call them, and they would probably open you up for 30 grand. But they're great for shorting locates. I mean, they're expensive, they're not cheap, but I mean, the locates are great, and I'm excited. So hopefully next week I'll be up and running. I'm trying to really work this out so that at some point I would like to start recording my trades, but a lot of the times when I trade from work, so that's the problem. But I'm gonna figure that out. Like some of the days I get to work from home, I'll see if I can make some trades. So with that said, I had one trade today, and let me just clear all this. Sorry about that. So let's go here. Why is it not letting me clear? Okay, here we go. Clear drawing set. So this was my watch list for today. I posted it on Twitter. So for those of you who don't know, you can follow me, and let me go to Twitter, and I have my this is my actual account, watchotrade. All right, so please subscribe, follow me on Twitter. Also, I have a YouTube page. If you just type watchotrade actually on Google, should, without even going to YouTube, you see me on the Twitter, and here's my YouTube page. So so here's my YouTube. I'm actually gonna pretty this up. I'm thinking about doing some things. I'm gonna try to make this look more professional, presentable, and it's good. It's growing, so that's great. And I'm also part of the Bullish Bears community, and the Bullish Bears community has over 3,000 subscribers now, which is fantastic. And this is my team. These are my guys. So you'll find all my videos here as well. So you can just go to videos, and actually playlist, and then you can kind of see everything sort of grouped together, and this is all my videos here. All right, so with that said, let's talk about today's play. So this was my watch list, and there were a million plays. I mean, there was so much opportunity, especially for shorting. But the reason why I focused on AKS is because AKS is a stock that I've shorted plenty of times, and if you noticed, AKS has been sort of in this range. So this is that. So I just pulled up the yearly chart, and if you see, it's been in this range. It's trading between about 550 all the way up to like 606. So every time you notice it has a big green day, it's always followed by a red day. You see, green day, 3 red days, green day, 3 red days, green day, 2 red days, green day. So you gotta expect one more red day, and then another green day. It's just been trading in this range. So I knew that off the bat because I've traded this and made several $1,000s trading this. Today I had an amazing day here. I made about $6,300 trading the stock today. So basically the market opens, and let me just remove oops, sorry guys. All right, so the market opens, right? And when the market opened, now this thing was moving pre-market. So if you notice here, actually this was yesterday. This thing spiked after hours. And then this morning, you know, it had some action here. So it's very light volume. And then it kind of pulled back. And then you see you got this little spike here, and this is right before the market opened. And you have the spike, and look what you get, this little sort of pullback here right into the market open. So I saw this, and as soon as I saw the pullback here, I got in, and you got the volume push, and you see that there was some buying going on here, very little selling. So you know, okay, that this stock is gonna start gapping up. Look at the MACD, the green is going above the red. You get into spacing. The RSI is midway, it's not even close to 70. Okay, the TTM is squeezing. All those indicators are letting you know that the stock is about to go push up. So I saw that, and I got executed right here at 638, and I just got into stock. This is the 1 minute chart here. This is the 5 minute chart here, and let me just zoom in here, and you see it just starts gapping up. So this is the first pullback. You can consider this a pullback, bull flag pullback. You got your second gap up, you got your second pullback here. So here's your second bull flag, right? And look what happens. Your entry is when it touches the 9 EMA. Look what happens. It bounces off the 9 EMA. And then you get this last little push, and it hit this doji right here. And right here, I saw the wall of sellers. I saw the MACD beginning to curl. And I saw this doji here, 650 is a psychological resistance barrier. So right in here, I sold. I got executed at like 649. And what I did was, so in this minute, it comes down. The next candle starts bouncing up. And right here, this lower high, I took it short. Okay? I took it short right here, right in this candle. So I sold and then reversed my position and shorted, risking that high of day, all right? And I just let this ride down. And look, so gaps down, pulls back up. So right here, right, when it comes up here, this is the lower high. This, if had you missed this initial entry up here, okay, at 648, you could have took another short position here. And if you notice, here's 1 top, 2 top, 3 top, 4 top. It's like every time you see a stock, so this is playing sort of like resistance at this point. When you get the double top, triple top, quadruple top, you know that that's a bearish sign and that the stock is going to give back more. And the stock just continued to collapse. So you notice it just, and if you notice here, right here, this is sort of like support at this point, right? And because it's going in this trend line, and look, it just breaks down, it gaps up. So had you missed these entries right here, right in this lower high here, you could have took another short entry and you could have rolled this down and all the way down. Each green candle is a lower high. You know, actually you could have took it here, another entry here, and there was just entries all the way down. But this thing collapsed, continued to collapse. It formed this bear flag, and it just came all the way down to 614. And I covered right into here. I covered at like 620. So I had a nice move. So I made money going long, and I made money shorting. And this is another, let me just remove this, clear this. You could have dip bought this. So once it found its support here, look what happened. Once it found its support here, you got the reversal. All right, so this finds a support, and then it starts gapping up. You see that the RSI is below 30. And that tells you that this stock has been oversold. You see the MACD curling. All right, you see the momentum starting to shift. So the red goes to yellow, meaning there's a shift in momentum, and it's starting to spike, and it just gaps up. And you could have took this up. Now, at this point, I had to work, so I couldn't look at it any longer. But shit, if had I known this, I would have watched this go all the way up, and I would have waited for another short opportunity. You could have shorted this again. Look at that beautiful head and shoulders pattern. Shoulder, head, right? Shoulder, and then another collapse. So you could have took this and dip bought it. Now you don't know if you're gonna always get this range, but you know, this presented a nice shorting opportunity as well. I mean, a longing opportunity as well. So it had a lot of opportunities to trade. So that was my trade for the day. You know, and I did very well with this stock. There were a lot of stocks here that moved, man. I wish. Look at this stock. Had I seen ICRH, man. Look at this. This is a monster short. I missed this. So this thing gaps up at the market open. You had an opportunity to make a whole dollar. This thing went from 28.33 to 29.73. So even if you had 100 shares of this, you know, you could have made $100. That's why don't be afraid to trade the higher price stocks. But look what happened. This thing freaking collapsed. It runs, and these are like, I love these plays where the stock just slowly gaps up in this trend. You know you're gonna get a wash. Now you don't normally get a wash where you lose, goes down $5, but you watch it go up, and it's riding the 9 EMA, 9 and 20. It never breaks below the 20, only for this one brief second, but it's still above VWAP. And look, you could have rolled this up, and then look, it hits that high point. You see that doji, another doji convert, and right here, right? You know, this is that higher day. You see the change and momentum happening. Less buying, and all of a sudden, look at all that selling. The RSI is hot. The MACD's curling, and you could have took this short, this bad boy short, and look at this. This thing just freaking collapsed. It bounces off VWAP and then continues to. Look at this. So right here, as you watch this, I mean, you could have just took a short on the way down, because there was so much selling pressure that, you know, I would have been confident taking a trade. But if you wanted to be technical with it, you could have said, okay, I'm gonna wait for a bounce and see if it forms a lower high, and then I'll short the lower high. So it bounces right here. It bounces off VWAP for a second. It comes up here. Right here is your short entry. Risking, you could risk the higher day or risk whatever, maybe the previous high candle that's high or whatever, however you want to go about it. But then this thing came down, collapsed some more. Right here, you could have took another short entry. This probably at this point probably on the short sell restriction list. But, you know, if it wasn't and you had short shares available, you could have just shorted. So each lower high gives you an opportunity to short, and you could have just kept going down. And here's another one, bounce right here, and then you could have taken another lower high right here, and this thing just continued to collapse all the way down. So it went from 29 to 20. Actually, I said $5. It went down $2, but still, that's fantastic. And then he found its support level here, and then you could have dip bought it, and this thing went all the way back up to 28.28, and it closed at 28.28. I mean, this presented a lot of opportunities to short. That's why I love shorting. I just think that shorting, you know, it sucks because you got to pay for borrows, especially sometimes the hard borrows, and you know, it's not the easiest thing to do all the time. But I feel like it's so much simpler to short than long. It's just my opinion. All right, so you know, that was there, and there were plenty other plays. But with that said, let's build our watch list for Monday. So I'm just gonna come here. I'm gonna go to create watch list. Monday's date is June 10th, June 12th. So we're gonna put 6, 12, 17. We're gonna hit save, and we're gonna build our watch list. So this is my criteria. I look for stocks between 20 cents and $30 that are up 500,000 shares, that have sold 500,000 shares or more, that are up 5%. So you hit scan, and we got 82 plays. Wow, the market was hot today. All right, I don't know if I'll go through 82, but we'll give it a shot. All right, so let me zoom this up. See, yeah, there's a lot of plays here. All right, so here are the plays, and let's go. I'll go to charts, so let's look through the chart. So first one, AMDA. AMDA, look at this. This thing has been moving. It's up after hours. I don't know if there's got to be some catalyst, some news. Oh, it files 8K. Correction. It filed for something. I don't know, but I'll put it on the watch list because it's holding its highs. Now, a stock like this, you know, you could look to see if it's shortable. So what I usually do is, if you want more information about the stock, I go to FinViz, just so you know. And on FinViz, you could just type the name of the ticker. So you type AMDA, and it'll tell you, like, okay, right over here, it gives you some information. So how many shares of float? So it's 34 million shares, 6% is short. So there's not a lot of people shorting the stock currently. Is it shortable? Yes, it's shortable. And look at the volume. So it's average volume. This is what matters. You want to look at the average volume. You want to look at the volume it had today. So it's way above its average volume. That tells you that, you know, Monday, it might be in play. So that's why it's going to go on my watch list. It's holding its highs, and maybe people start paying attention to it. Now, I'll be looking to short this Monday, and, you know, I got E-Trade. They're probably not going to have shares to short. But if they do, I'll look for it. But with Centerpoint, I'm definitely going to be able to share. And this is a stock that I would probably take 20, 30, 50,000 share position on a short if I saw it, if I had the right setup, and make, you know, several $1,000s. All right, so that's going to be on my watch list. All right, and then look, you had this gap up, you had this pullback, and then this push. All right, so let's keep on. IMLFF. Now this is garbage. ASNA. Now this is a stock that will absolutely be on my watch list. This thing ripped the whole day, and you know, it's one of those slow grinders. If you're looking at it for a momentum play, I wouldn't look at the 1 minute and look at this as a momentum play. Like if I'm looking at this, I'm looking at a longer time frame, like a 5 minute or 15 minute. And if you see here on at the market open on the 5 minute, look, this is the higher day. This seems to be bouncing off this is the previous day's close price. And look, you're getting this consolidation here, and you get the pop, you know. And look, it just literally rides the 13 EMA. So on the 5 minute time frame, I use the 13 EMA, and this is VWAP. And look, you could have got in right here if you catch this early and rolled this up. Now, if you're watching this and you're not sure where to get in, on here it's too choppy. But on the 5 minute, if I was looking at this, these are bull flags. So this is a flag pattern right here. This is an entry, flag pattern right here. This is an entry. It gaps up, pulls back. This is an entry. You know, this is kind of choppy. It's kind of hard to get a sense of when to really get in. You know, I mean, for me, the cleanest entry would have been right here for me. Like right here would have been the cleanest entry, and that's why I got all this big volume push, because other traders saw this flat top breakout and they just, you know, it hit out. It was on everybody's higher day scanners at this point, and that's why people got enrolled it. But you can always look at a different time frame. So if I go on the 15-minute time frame and look on the 15-minute time frame, it's a little bit cleaner. Look, gap up, pull back. This is the bull flag right here. So right here is your entry, gap up, pull back. That's the bull flag. But it's so far in front of the 13 EMA that I would feel like I'm chasing it, and I would be too uncomfortable. I would like to see a pullback to the 13 EMA in order to trade it. So for me, I would have been more comfortable trading on the 5, because I see it, you know, I see it like tapping the 13 and then making my entry. See, it's tapping and then you're making your entry. So, you know, but it's gonna be on the watch list because it's holding its highs, and we'll see what happens on Monday. All right, DXTR had this nice move. Look at this, like textbook. This text, look, a stock that gaps up, it has its run, hits its high. You see that reversal come, you know, you see it touch. So like you see that it's touching, it's going down, it's touching. You know, oh, I'm going short at this point. It keeps touching, but it's not breaking through it, and you could have took this short and took this back down. The problem is with stocks with stocks like this, you know, they're just very hard to they're very hard to short. And another problem is that I don't really talk about is the 250 rule. So when you buy a stock, when you short a stock that's 250 or under, you gotta match it one share for every share you purchase with the amount of money for 250. So if you short one share of this, the 24 cents, you gotta match it with $2.50. That's why it's called the 250 rule. So you're limited. So for 1,000 shares, you need a minimum of $1,000. I'm sorry, yeah, you need a minimum, I think, of four. So you can only short 400 shares with $1,000 in your account, according to the 250 rule, and it goes up depending on that. But center point, there's no 250 rule, so I don't have to worry about that. So you know, that's another advantage of having a center point account. So you know, is this gonna be on my watch list? A question? Nah. NAKD, this thing is, you know, 1.7 million shares, but I don't know, it's like really choppy. I mean, it's up. You know what? I think this is an oil stock, right? Let's see, analyze. What is this? Doesn't have a company profile here. I don't even know. I thought NAKD was a oil stock. I'm not even sure. Let's see. NAKD, Naked Brand Cook Incorporated. Oh, it's a clothing apparel company. I see. You know, I've traded this stock before. That's why I'm familiar with the name. But I don't know. I mean, it's up. I'm not gonna look at it. Next up, NM. This is one of the shippers. You know, this runs with Dries and all those other companies. You know, it's up. It went from 112 to 130. You know, it's kind of down. I mean, if this gaps, look to Dries to run too. This runs with Dries. Is it gonna be in my watch list? I don't like it. ENZ. This thing Enzo. It opened up at 927, hit a high of 1061. This thing is definitely gapping up. You know, it kind of bounced below, but now it's above VWAP. So, and it has 1 million shares traded. Not super liquid, but liquid enough that you can at least, you know, pay attention to it. And let me go back to that chart. You know, it's, you know, and over the last 5 days, it's been this $8 range. So what I would be looking to do is I would be putting, like me personally, you know, you could put a little So right here is the low, right? And this sort of acts as support, and if it breaks below this, you could take the short and look at look at the range, so you could be looking to short a stock like this, but maybe it has a continuation. It's probably up on news. Let's see, results. I'm not gonna look in the details, but it probably had some results, some good results. Yeah, results increased, improved results. Yeah, revenues. That's what happened. The revenues increased. So when you have like earnings winners like this, sometimes they can run for multiple days. So it's good to watch them to see how long, because sometimes they run for weeks even. So we'll see what happens Monday. Maybe there's a continuation. But it'll definitely present a shorting opportunity. That's for sure. Come Monday, it'll have some sort of pullback. APTO now is too choppy. AVGR, nah. Even though I've traded this stock before, it seemed to have found the support level here at 35, and now it's moving. Maybe it might be worth a swing trade, but I'm not. This is garbage. EGLT, nah, I don't like it. It's like too choppy. GOGL, Google, not a lot of, it's not liquid, but this stock always has some sort of range. Like it does trade in a range. You know what? I'll put it on there for you swing traders. Maybe there's a couple of you that may be looking to swing trade, and you may think it's worth a swing trade. I don't know. You got to do your research and see. Remember, if you want to get a sense of it, you just put the yearly chart up and you say, okay, what range is it in? All right, so this seems to be support level 542, right? This seems to be the yearly low. We're looking at it right now. It's kind of having 2 green days. So you can see when is it it's had multiple green day runs. So it's capable of it, and then you can kind of get a sense of whether or not it's above the 13 EMA, and it's above the 9 and 20 EMA. So on the yearly, so it has a chance. So take a look at it, do your research, and figure it out for yourself. CNIT, nah, I don't like it. FTK, wow, look at this. It's not liquid, but man, what a move. This thing on the 5-minute, look at this. It just rolled along the 13. Look what it did. Bounces off the 13 EMA, gap up. Dips slightly below it, but you see it kind of just stays in that and just went all the way to 947. On the 1 minute, it's just way too choppy to get a sense of if you should get trade. And it's not liquid. It's not a lot of people trading it, But the reason why I'm going to put it on there for you guys is, maybe more people start paying attention to it. Maybe you want to swing trade it. So I just do that so that you guys have options. Next up, Mosey. Mosey, yeah, had this move, and it was interesting. So I didn't trade this, but the reason why I put this here was because at this moment I was at work. So one of my coworkers is like interested in working, and I caught the stock literally like right here, 167. I didn't trade it, but I saw it high day, and I showed her, look, I bet you this is gonna pull back. And at that moment, it pulled back. It pulled back to like 162, and then it touched, pulled back again. Then it broke 180 for a second, but then it washed. And I told her that this is gonna wash, and it did. It did exactly what I thought it was gonna do. I didn't trade it though. Now, am I gonna put it on the watch list? Yes. And the reason why is because let's pull up Mosley, and if you let's look at the 5-day chart. Yeah, that's fine. So look, this is June 6th. June 6th, it had a rip, right? Let me zoom out. All right, that was June 6th. All right, June 7th, it kind of washed. It didn't really do anything, sold off. But June 8th, today, it washed. So you know what? So Monday, it may be a chance that it'll have one more pop. Because sometimes when these stocks move like this, these low float runners, sometimes they move for several days. They don't completely die off. It takes a few days before they completely die. So it doesn't hurt to put it on your watch list. All right. Next up, BAS. This thing had look at this. It gapped up to 24, came all the way down. So it went from green to red because it dipped below the previous day's close price. That's where you got all that selling pressure. Then it found its support at 22, and this thing just consolidated and moved. Now it doesn't have no volume, so but it had a lot of movement. These $20 stocks, they move, man. They move. So even if you see an entry, even 100 shares, if you have a small account, like if you have $3,000 and you can afford to buy 100 shares, sometimes it's worth taking. Because let's say you see this stock pulled, right? So this stock would appear on my dip buy scan, at the open, like I have a dip buy scan. It's not on here now, but I have this dip buy scan that I use and that I call out in the group. A lot of people know about this. So there's a stock that in that open would have popped up because it would have popped up once you got 2 consecutive 1 minute red candles, and this thing completely sells off, and look, it finds its support level here at 22.82, and then you start getting the bounce, and this thing just ripped. So if you caught it here and you start seeing momentum come in, you could have took a 100 share position on this. Just, hey, you know what, I'm risking the low. If it dips below 22.82, I'm out. But if it stays up, I'll just ride this, and you could have rolled this all the way up. So dip buying sometimes can be really, really good. Now I'm just gonna put it on there because it just had this crazy move. So why not? It's holding its high. You don't lose anything by it. It's not very liquid, but we'll see. All right, so let's keep moving on. So next up is COCP. COCP, nope. DRNG, nope. CPE. CPE, this had a nice move and it had a lot of volume. Now this is the stocks that I love to trade. This stock was at $12. This thing completely collapsed and it found its support at 10.29. Now it's up. So you know what? It has some more range. So this is a stock what I call, let's zoom out. What I call I'll pull up the 5-day here. This is what I call a gap fill. So when a stock has this big sell-off like this, you can expect a lot of times, not all the time, that it finds its support and then it runs all the way back up and you're looking for it to fill the gap. That's what it's called. So this you should be looking for to see. I wouldn't be surprised come Monday morning at the open, this thing kind of has a move up and then it's gonna have a huge pullback. So it's probably gonna present a nice shorting opportunity come Monday. We'll see. All right. Next up, CBRS. Nope. CRZO. Oh, let me sorry, let me put this back 2 day 1 minute. Yeah, this thing, and look at this thing went from 18 to $20. 3 million shares traded. I mean, this had a nice move up. I mean, right here when it went from red, so this is the previous day's close price, right? So it finds its support level, starts running, but right here would have been your entry when it went from red to green. And if you're looking at this on the 1 minute, gaps up, and here's the bull flag. This is the pullback right here. You see how it pulls back to the 9 EMA, and then you get the push. And then look, you have all these little micro pullbacks here that give you entry points, and you see it's never breaking below the 9 EMA. And on the 5 minute chart, this thing just gapped up. Now this gives you a nice clean entry here. You see on the 5 minute it runs all the way up, and right here is the pullback. This is the bull flag pullback. But me personally, to be honest with you, I don't know if I would have traded this. I would have been very afraid, only because it's so far out. Like this is the 13 EMA, and I would like to see a pullback to the 13 EMA in order to get an entry. Now, I might have taken a trade here only because of the volume I see pushing, but I would have been pretty scared. But look what happens. It has this gap up, it has a second gap up, and then right here, look at that doji. Beautiful. On the 5 minute, very clear that a reversal is taking place, and then you have this nice wash. But then it finds its support here, and then it has a second move up. But it's hard at this point because it's so choppy, it's so up and down that you don't really know what to do. Me personally, I would have just stood away from it because it's too choppy at that point. For me, the 2 entries on this stock would have been on the 1 minute right here. I would have had an entry right here. I would have took an entry. I would not have touched it after that. And of course, once it went from red to green, that would have been, those are my 3 entries on the 1 minute. On the 5 minute, the only entry that I would have felt comfortable with outside of the red to green move is this right here, where it does this bull flag pullback and then it gaps up. Here I might have taken a chance on it, but I would have been kind of scared because it's so far extended from the 13 EMA. All right, I like to see a pullback to the 13 EMA. Now JCPenney was up, and it's up. I don't know why this thing was up, but this was up, and it's way too choppy on a 1 minute. There's no way I would have looked to trade this as a momentum play because I would have no idea what the stock was doing. On the 5 minute, you have an entry kind of here. You have an entry kind of gaps up and pulls back here, so you have another entry here. But it's very, very choppy. Here I would probably have to look at a higher time, like a 5. See, this is a 15-minute time frame, and on the 15-minute, it's a little cleaner, your entry. So you got your gap up, you have your pullback right here. This is your bull flag pullback, and right here would have been my entry on the 15-minute. Then it gaps up, it pulls back right here. and you see I pulls back to the 13 EMA. So right here would have been my entry. Gaps up, kind of pulls back, and it almost touches the 13 EMA. So that would have been another entry here. And then you kind of got another one here, and then it just has this last push. So on the 15-minute time frame, the entries are a lot cleaner. And you got these two here on the 5-minute, but you know, so choppy. Now I'll put on the watch list. I expect this to kind of pull back down Monday, but I don't even think they're gonna. This is probably not shortable at this point. They're scared that if they short, people are allowed to short this stock at this point, it's gonna be worth nothing. So, you know, it's a big company. I don't think they, you know, they don't want to let it fold yet. LXRX, you know, had this nice move at the open. It went all the way up to 16.45 before it pulled back and hit 15 bucks. Lexacorp, you know, it had some volume. You know, here it's so, you know, if I'm looking at this, I'm not chasing this stock because it's so far extended from the 9 EMA that I wouldn't. Now, let's say if I got greedy and I wanted to chase because it was like the second candle and it's the 1 minute, so I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna take a chance. I would have a trend line like this just to watch it, and if it breaks the trend, you get out because, you know, this can reverse on you very quickly. You know, your entries should be the pullback to the 9 EMA. That's where you want to enter. But, you know, some people chase. Me, personally, I wouldn't chase. I watch a stock like this, and I'm just, like, waiting for that reversal to short. So I would have just watched this go all the way up, find its resistance point. So I would have seen that it found its, you know, it tops out here, and I would have been very comfortable shorting this because look at this top, and as soon as that reverse comes, I would have shorted right here in this lower high. You could have really took your short entry right here, somewhere in here, and very comfortably shorted this back down all the way to like 15 something before it bounces back up. And look, and then it comes back down. It never comes back to that higher day. It comes back down and just continues to wash. All right, so is it gonna be on my watch list? I guess that's the question. I'm sorry, I get so carried away with showing you how to enter and exit stocks. And look, it has this seems to be support at this point, and it has that double top where you could kind of see. So you know you're gonna get a bounce when you get those double tops. It doesn't break below support, and you got that last little push it to the close, you know. So yeah, I put this on the watch list. It seems pretty volatile. We'll see what happens. LXRX. All right, so let's keep going. Where I'm at. GII, yeah, these $20 stocks, man, they just freaking ripping, you know. And I like to find the cheaper plays because not, you know, a lot of people don't want to trade these, but you can't not deny the move. You know, it goes from 24 to 26, and look, this is that stock that I put it like in my late day fade where a stock just rips. You see, this is a stock that's just running all day long, you know, and this is sort of too choppy on a 1 minute for me to get a clear entry, to be honest with you. The only clear entry for me on a 1 minute would have been here once it broke high of day. So if this is high of day right here, right, this 2563 level, and you see that it has this sort of like consolidation here, right here, when you see it's sort of like consolidate right here, I would have got in because that would have been a clear ascending triangle breakout. I would have got in right here. And, you know, I would have been comfortable taking a trade on here on the 1 minute. On the 5 minute, you know, if you're looking at the 5 minute, it's still sort of choppy. It's not that clean, these entries, you know, and it's far out above the 13 EMA. So I don't know if I would have got in, because I would have been too scared not knowing what it would have done. But if I see this sideways consolidation, yeah, and I see it's trending, it's forming these higher lows, and it's riding above the 13 EMA on the 5 minute, absolutely I get in right here. You know, right here, right when it breaks the high, the day high, and you know it pops on everybody's high day scanners. So you know that would have been a nice entry point for me to see where it goes. And you see it kind of rides up, and you see the higher day doji, and then you see the wash. All right. Next up, GST. Oh, I guess the question is it going to be on my watch list? Yeah, let's put it back on. GIII. Okay. So let's keep looking. GST. Nope. HOS, nope. CATO is another stock, no volume, so I'm gonna skip it. DNR, nope. ATRS, nope. BAKE, nope. You know, it's holding its highs, but there's just no volume, not enough volume for me. HUMB, HUMB 1.7. This is another, you know, stock that, you know, had this monster move. Now the reason why I would look at these stocks is really more to short them, you know. I would look for short entries on these. Even 100 shares, guys, would get you like $200 because, the moves are so volatile that you can get short entries on these. BBG, yeah, this is one of those stocks that has a lot of movement. It's one of those shitty companies that just seems to be very volatile. I mean, it's hard to get a sense. Like, the only trade I would have took on this was that red to green move. Once this is the previous day's close price, so once it broke above that, that would have been an entry for me. Other than that, I don't know. Here, you get this little pullback here to the 9 EMA, and here, this is probably a clean entry on the 1 minute, and you see it here on the 5 minute. But other than that, I don't know. I wouldn't know how to trade this other than the higher day breakout. So if this is higher day at this point, right into the close, and you see you get this bull flag, and then you have this last push after hours, and it's up after hours. So I'm gonna put it on the watch list just because of that. But I would be looking to short this Monday if you can. Let's see what else. NAT had a nice move. 1.5 million shares. This thing, look at this. It just rolled the 9 EMA the whole time. Just went up, all the way up. I mean, it doesn't give you a clear entry. So it's you don't know what to do. Like if I'm watching this, this is why I love shorting, because I don't know how high it's gonna go. Right? I could take a trade and say, well, I'm gonna stay in as long as it doesn't break the 9 and 20 EMA, and you could just jump in. Like, theoretically, right here, it has this little micro pullback right here. I mean, that's an entry point. And right here, it has this little micro pullback. That's kind of an entry point. But honestly, folks, I really wouldn't know where to get in on this. So me personally, I'm like, well, this can't go up forever, right? So I would just let it have its run, look at the volume bars, wait for that selling pressure to come in, see that higher day, and just short it into that little reversal. And it had a minor pullback. And then it kind of just, it's been sideways ever since. Is it gonna be on my watch list? I don't know. Let's see where it's done over the last 5 days. It was at 590. It's at 6. I don't know. I don't really like it, but nah, I'm not gonna put it on. BKS, no. Barnes and Noble, poor Barnes and Noble, man. I'm gonna miss them when they close for good. NKL, nope. GLNC, I'm sorry, GLNG from 21. It's holding its highs. I mean, look at this. This thing had a monster move. VWAP bounce. I love that. When a stock bounces above VWAP and you can just ride it up. That's another one out of my manual where I talk about those VWAP bounce plays. They're great entries. You see it bounce. Sometimes when it bounces below it and touches it, you can take it short, and then it comes down and bounces off it and goes up. You can take it long. I'll put it on there. I know they swing traders and option traders, so I think of them too when I build these watch lists. No, FET, nah. Nah. AREX had 1.5 million shares traded. It had this nice move up and then down, but it's like too choppy. I mean, this is on the 5 minute. This is a nice clean entry. So you see this bull flag pullback right to the 13 EMA, and it runs up, and then you get this second kind of consolidation 13 EMA pullback, and then right here you get that push, and then you get the wash. Now I would be looking to wash this. You see nice clean entries right here. Usually you get 1, 2, last push, reversal. All right, it's just very choppy. Is it gonna be on my watch list? I don't know. Let's see where it's been over the last 5 days. This high was at 294. It kind of seems to be running again. If you look at the yearly, this is a stock that at its height is at 435. Nah, I don't know. Nah, I don't like it. All right, FCEL, nah. EACR, nah. J1E, no. CRR kind of moved. I don't like it. It's too choppy. ATRX, nope. GPOR, this thing had a nice move. It's kind of getting close to its resistance. So you know what I would be looking at to short this, to see if it hits that 1398, 1399 number, and then short it back down. I mean, it has the volume, so yeah, we'll put it back on. And these are the stocks that honestly nobody looks at. Like, nobody was talking about AKS except for me. Like, it was gonna give you this great shorting opportunity, and it worked, because I look at all these stocks, man. I don't discriminate. I short everything. DK was at 25. It's up at 26, and it's holding its highs. I'll put it on there just for you, options traders and all that stuff. I mean, it could be a potential short. but it's holding its high, so it may be volatile. BTE, nah. EPE, nah. ALJ, nah. JAG, nah. It had this move. It did move. It goes from 12 to 13. That's at 13.35, but no volume. So that's my watch list here. Nothing, nothing extraordinary. Nothing that I'm like in love with for Monday. But that's why we have scanners, because we find plays in real time. Now what I'll do is I'll make sure to look at look, FI Franks International. It's a stock that's choppy, but it's up 1.2 million shares. CPG, DNOW, ACOR. So I'll look at more stocks and do more research to see what's up. AF, think this thing went crazy after hours. See, like, FI finish line looks good. It's probably gonna be a great short come Monday. I'm gonna put it on there, FINL. And just because I say it's gonna be a great short doesn't mean I don't think it's gonna continue to go higher. I just look at a stock and I say, okay, well, it gapped up this much, right? You look at the yearly chart, you're like, well, it gapped up this much. I mean, since first red day, gapped up. Even if it's gonna continue up, right? Because it looks like it has, a gap fill to like 16, so maybe it gets back up there. But you gotta expect it Monday to have some slight pullback to short into, So that's what I'm thinking. All right. So that's my watch list, folks. I hope you found this helpful, and we'll talk on Monday. All right. Remember to join Bullish Bears and follow me, and appreciate it. Have a great weekend, y'all.